心象本願の日 小所欲実法生尊知恵無下上領子孫知が心行軽量心死食読中画行精進忍術不敬ナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブ何にしく読平等性一切道音も大心往生阿ナマンナナマンナナマンナナマンナナマンナナマンナナマンナスナマンナスナマンナナマンナスナマンナス
Please join me in Gassho. When we reflect on the establishment of the vow, we find that the Tathagata, without abandoning sentient beings in pain and affliction, has taken the directing of virtue to them as foremost, thus fulfilling the mind of great compassion. 如来の左岸を尋ねれば、苦悩の右情を捨てずして、エコーを主としたまいて、大悲心をば成就せり、とナマンダウスナマンダウスナマンダウス。Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well amidst the whole situation that's going on in the news, staying at home and finding time to be able to carry out your normal daily lives in some way, fashion, or another. Lately for us, our family has been going out to the garden out on the lot in the corner, and we've been doing some gardening. And my main task is to clear out all the weeds, and my wife has been planting a lot of the seeds, and my son has been playing in the yard and looking for worms and ladybugs and watching out for centipedes and stuff like that. So he's having a good time. But anyway, so we are out in the garden each doing our own thing, and I came across a really interesting piece of earth, and it is this rock right here. I don't know if you could see this in the camera, but it's this rock. It's a very oddly shaped rock in the sense that it's perfectly shaped. It's very smooth on the surface. It looked like an egg when I first saw it. It's very smooth, and it's quite heavy, but there aren't any jagged edges. So I thought, I would keep it because it looked kind of cool. So I would use it as a paperweight for keeping the book open to the page that I needed on when I read and stuff. My son looks at it at first, and at first he didn't pay much attention to it, But after I washed it and cleaned it, he noticed the smoothness of the rock, and he fell in love with it, and he wanted to use it, and now all he does is carry it around, and he takes it around everywhere, and he carefully puts it in different places, in a place of prominence, and it's very interesting how he thinks of this rock as something very special. I don't know what he's thinking behind it, but he treats it with a great care. My wife looks at it, and all she sees is a rock, right? She told me she wouldn't even have given it a second look out in the garden. So all three of us, when we look at this rock, we see three different things. Right? It's the same rock, but we see three different things in this rock. But here's what makes us what we call bumbu in Buddhism and in Japanese, which is translated as ordinary or foolish person. This doesn't mean that Buddhism is saying that you are stupid and to beat yourself up, over this. Sometimes people kind of get carried away with these different terms. Foolish or ordinary here means we see things in a certain way and we accept only our viewpoint. For example, I see the rock and I see a paperweight. My wife sees a rock and she sees a rock that belongs in the earth. My son sees a rock and he sees, who knows what he sees? Let's call it a magical rock. We all look at this piece of earth and we place a value judgment on it. A value judgment that either brings benefit to my life or non-benefit to my life. Either way, whether it is of benefit or non-benefit, it is still in relation to the ego self and how I perceive it. And this is what Buddhism calls, or what we mean by bumbu. We look at things after they have been processed and filtered through our value judgment eyes. The rock, in an objective sense, has no intrinsic value of good or bad, beneficial or non-beneficial, right or wrong, right? It just is. It's being a rock, the rock, right? But the egocentric self will see this rock and place a value judgment on it. Good, bad, right, wrong, black, white, beneficial, non-beneficial, innocent, non-innocent. Sentient beings or bumbu will do this to everything, and we even do it to other people as well. And this is why there are disputes, disagreements, conflicts, even wars that arise. It is because of our lack of understanding that we are beings that are unable to see things as they are. And we place value judgments on things based on our attachments. When other people's value judgments conflict with ours, we label those people as quote-unquote other, and this becomes fertile ground to foment hatred and disdain towards them. So how we perceive things greatly affect how we will treat other things and other people. For example, the food natto, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's fermented beans. It's a Japanese dish. When I see natto, I see it as a delicious and having nutritional value, right? But give natto to another person, and that person may think it is the most vile food on the face of this earth, right? Its gooiness and the smell, right? All those different sensations that arise when you look and smell natto. So our difference in perception will decide whether we buy it or not. If another example, if I think Mr. John Smith is nice and a hard worker, I will want to work with him. But let's say another person thinks Mr. John Smith is like a smarty pants and works too hard and therefore a square, right? And doesn't like that person. How we treat Mr. John Smith will greatly differ in our value judgment of that person. Another example is that this world or this earth, in the Buddha's eyes, this world as well as the rest of the universe and beyond is the Pure Land. Therefore, as beings of this world, we are objects of Amida Buddha's compassionate activity. But in our eyes, this world is one of delusion and suffering. We create nothing but distinctions between self and other. Our ignorance keeps us from seeing this world as it truly is. So then, our perception of things is our perception. Our karmic upbringing shapes the way we will see things in this world. We cannot truly see things as they are because only a Buddha can do that. Right? But on the other hand, as beings who cannot help but to look at the outside world through the lens of our attachments, we cannot help but to be bumbu. It is our nature to be bumbu. Just as much it is the nature of the rock to be the rock. So then, what do we do with this teaching? Well, one thing we can do now is to try and understand that when there is an argument, or when people are fighting, or there is a conflict, to remember that there are always two sides to a story, and to try to place yourself in the other person's position. We can try to see where the other person is coming from. Some further examples may be, maybe if you were a rich person or a powerful politician, you could implement public policy that helps the average worker instead of bailing out the large corporations. Maybe you can try to see that Asians are just as terrified of the coronavirus as all other ethnicities are, and to not scapegoat them. Maybe try to see that other people need toilet paper too, and not to hoard so much. Just buy what you need. Maybe try to see that other people are in this together, so wear a mask for their sake, and not be so self-conscious about it when going out. Maybe don't go out partying just because you are okay, and that you should stay home for the sake of oji-chan or oba-chan, grandma and grandpa. Those are some examples to show how we can try to see things in the perspective of someone else. The Buddha Dharma teaches us, yes, we are bumbu, conditioned to think and act in an egocentric way, but we can and should try to see things from the other person's perspective. Recognizing we are all in this together is the Buddhist way. So when you get into an argument, try to see where the other person is coming from. Although we are not Buddha, and we will have our limitations as to how far we can see, empathize, and understand, it is a big difference between knowing the cause of suffering and trying to mitigate it versus being completely oblivious to the cause and thereby causing further pain and suffering for everyone else around you. This is what Amida Buddha and the Buddha Dharma is trying to teach us. The Buddha directs our attention to recognize the actual situation we are in, and then to show us that despite being a bumbu, there is still a way for us to attain spiritual liberation. That way to attain spiritual liberation is through the Nembutsu, which I would like to discuss at another time. Today's discussion is that when we awaken to the human condition, that we are sentient beings who have attachments and who are bumbu. But when we understand this point, this then allows us to see that we are all in this together. In essence, we awaken to the unifying interconnectivity of universal solidarity. Please join me in Gassho. When we reflect on the establishment of the vow, we find that the Tathagata, without abandoning sentient beings in pain and affliction, has taken the directing of virtue to them as foremost, thus fulfilling the mind of great compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandas, namandas, namandas. Next, I would like to move on to the reading of Ryogemon, which is on page 13 of the Shin Buddhist service book. Ryoge Shitsugon Moromoro no Zogyo Zashu Jiriki no Kokoro o Furi Sutete Isshin ni Amida Nyorai Warera ga Kondo no Ichidaiji no Gosho On Tasuke Sorae to 頼み申して候。頼む一年の時、往生一条、御助け事情と存じ、この上の称名はご恩報者と存じ、喜び申し候。この恩ことあり弔問申し分け候こと、ご解散承認ご出世のご恩、次第僧正の全知識の朝からざるご関係のご恩とありがたく存じ候。この上は定めを課せらるる恩をきて、一号限り守り申すべく候。ナマンダナマンダウスナマンダウスナマンダウス。Ryogemon, the English translation is on page 14, and we'll be reading Ryogemon 1. I'm sorry, Ryogemon 2. I rely on Amida Buddha with my whole heart for the attainment of nirvana. I give up trust in my powerless self and abandon all practices that rely on the false ego. I know that because of Amida's boundless compassion, I am assured of rebirth the very moment I put my trust in Amida. I call the name Namo Amida Butsu in happiness and thanksgiving for the gift of the universal vow. I am grateful for Shinran Shonin and his followers for leading me to this profound teaching. I will try to live throughout my life according to the way of Nembutsu that they have taught. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. That will conclude today's service. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. And also, there is a link to be able to donate to the Tacoma Buddhist Temple, and your dana will go in supporting this temple and to be able to make weekly services on YouTube. Thank you very much.